Welcome back to North to Prem. In today's episode, we have got two fixtures in the National League North. We're at home to Rushall Olympic and then away to Southport. Since you last left us, we have made one new signing. Ben Challoner joins us in on loan from Peterborough. We do have actually an affiliate with Peterborough, which means that we can get our players on loan from Peterborough for free. There is also an affiliate with Lincoln as well, which I've not really looked into. But we have got Ben Challoner in on a free. He's been slotting in nicely in centre mid, and he's actually had quite a decent start. He got a goal on his debut, and he has played a couple games since then as well. We are currently looking to shift on with that addition. Hugh Alban Jones, he's currently got a contract offer from Dover, so we'll see how that progresses. And Jordan Nicholson, another one who's kind of been out of the squad since we've made some other signings. He's currently under a contract offer from South Shields as well. So hopefully those two will leave, and we'll have a nice £700 freed up on the wages. We are obviously still trying to bring in one or two, but since you last left us, the month of February has been pretty positive once again. We did have an away draw to Spennymoor. It was 2-2. It was a little bit disappointing because they actually went down to 10 men in the 15th minute, but they actually somehow managed. We did go 1-0 up through Josh Hines, but they did manage to pull it back to 2-1. But thankfully, a late Josh Hines equaliser did manage to save our blushes a little bit, and we walk away with a point. But really, I think we should have been winning that one. But we did follow that up with a massive 7-0 win over Hereford. Massive result. What a great game that is. It's not as good when you look at the fact that Hereford are rock bottom of the league. And if you remember, Hereford were actually the other team that interviewed us for their vacant manager role. So what could have been there? They definitely wouldn't have been bottom of the league, I think, if I'd have took over. We then followed that up with an away win to Brackley Town, 3-2 win there, and then another away victory this time, 5-3. But what you'll notice looking at these last four results, George Robertson, yeah, he is not really doing too well. He's currently got 20 goals conceded in 19, conceded 3 against Curzon Ashton, 2 against Brackley, 2 against Spennymoor. I mean, just look at his rating, 6.3. He got a 7.6 there, but I think that's probably because they probably didn't have a shot on target. A 6.5, a 6.3. So I think it's fair to say the George Robertson experiment and hope that he's going to be our starter is probably going away. Ellis Craven is on loan from Norwich. He has played one game before we went back to Robertson. He did really well, so hopefully he can just come back in. He has been a little bit upset that he's not been playing, so it makes sense to bring him back in at this point as well with Robertson. Not doing too well. We'll still keep Robertson around. He's only 16. He's on a youth contract. We'll still keep him around. We want to keep him at the club, but I think as a starter, probably not moving forward. In terms of the rest of the squad, it's looking good. We've obviously done a few contract renewals as well. I can't remember which ones we talked about last time, but Caleb Chukwumeka and Dan Mooney were both two ones I think I was talking about last time wanting to get renewed. Those are both renewed now. Dan Mooney on £325 a week now, and Chukwumeka on £575. So those are locked in till the end of next year. But we're going to play our first game of the episode at home to Rushall Olympic. So this is the team we're going with for our first game in the episode. Craven comes back in goal for his second game in a Peterborough Sports shirt. We've got a back four of Ahui, Fox, Hayes Green and Ben Wyatt. Connor Johnson currently suspended, so Hayes Green comes in. A midfield two of Ben Challoner in a ball-winning role and Ibrahim as more of a playmaker. Then we've got a midfield three of Hines on the right, McCammon in the middle, Dan Mooney on the left and Chukwumeka up top. Hines, by the way, has been an incredible recent form. He's actually got 7 goals and 3 assists in 8 games. He's absolutely ripping it up. I mean, remember we brought him in as a breakthrough prospect, only £110 a week till next season, but he's progressed really well. Some of his attributes are looking kind of not as good, like they're going to go and got some negative arrows there, but he's still been really good, and he's been absolutely leathering them in lately on the right hand side. Not so much when he's played up top, but definitely on the right hand side. McCammon's obviously doing well, so I think we've got some goal scorers at the top now, and I think we've improved the defence and the midfield. So really, realistically, I think we're in a really good position. Rushall Olympic are further down the table, so we should be beating these. We are currently still just outside of the playoffs, but it is a lot closer than it was last episode. So I definitely think a win here can push us even further into getting into those playoffs. And like I say, because of the form we're on, if we do manage to get into the playoffs, I would fancy us to do quite well. I would fancy us to at least get to the final of it, and maybe even win the playoffs. I don't think. Trying to think back, I haven't had a lot of saves in my own personal sort of football manager. Just history wise, I can't even remember the first football manager I played. It was probably 10 years ago, maybe a little bit, no, maybe a bit less. Maybe it was 2015, 16, something around there. Can't remember exactly, but I don't remember going up from the playoffs too much. It was usually a case of going up automatic or winning a league. I haven't done playoffs a lot, um, but it has been done. I have probably been in the playoffs and not won them more often than I've been in the playoffs and won them. But there you go. But I think if we can get in, I think I'm confident if we can get into the playoffs in this save with this team, with the way we're playing at the minute, I definitely think we could win them. I definitely think we could give it a very good go as well. I don't think there's anyone in this league we couldn't beat. But saying that, it is actually still 0-0 here, and it has been a little bit of a slow game. There's only been the one highlight soon, but we do have a second highlight now. With unfortunately, Rush All Olympic just playing, knocking the ball about. We're not really doing enough pressing to get it back, but we've done it there, and it is Hines who's picked it up as a Hui is looking for a forward pass. He's actually made a really good run, and Hines again. Oh, he's in behind. I thought he was going to get another goal to his name, but I don't know what really happened. It kind of just deflected around. I think a keeper might have saved it. It might hit the post. I'm not 100% sure, but unfortunately, Hines just hasn't managed to get the ball in the back of the net there. And I thought it looked for all the world he had done, but we've probably been the better team. But we're not really seeing enough highlights, which is definitely disappointing. We do have a kickoff highlight, which is always promising as we are on the ball here. As Fox is looking for an option, he finds Hines, who, like I say, has been incredible, but he hasn't really been incredible there. As Rushall just play the ball back to their goalkeeper, and I'm not hoping it's going to be not one of those non-league over-the-top deals. It's not, as a Hui steps back and just heads it back. But again, Hines just giving the ball away, and that is a little bit disappointing. If he continues to not play well this game, we might look to take him off. But I don't know. We haven't got a ton of options on the bench as Rushall do whip one in the box, and it's knocked out, but it has fallen back to him, and it is a Rushall goal. And I think I would say it's probably gone a little bit against the run of play there. We have definitely been the better side. I mean, if you look at the stats, we have been the better side. So we really need to get back in this. This is a game we should be winning. This would be really disappointing. And all this big talk of me saying we're in great form and we would probably win the playoffs if we got in them. But it doesn't look like we're in playoff winning form at the minute, or at least not based on this performance. But Ben Wyatt breaking down the left-hand side. Let's try and get back in the game as quickly as we can, because realistically a draw is not even good enough here. We really need to be winning this kind of game. But it has fallen, and unfortunately we just can't seem to get shots off. But thankfully a little bit of luck goes our way. The Rush Olympic defenders absolutely clattered into Hines, and we have got a penalty here, and it is going to be Caleb Chukwuemeka to step up to take the penalty, and it's saved. Oh, it's just one of them days, isn't it? It's just going to be one of them games where you're just the better side, you're doing everything right, but you just can't get it in. The penalty saved. I mean, I don't remember the last time I've seen a penalty saved at National League North level. The keepers at this level are terrible. So the fact that that he's not put that in is really disappointing from Caleb. The weird thing is with Football Manager, if you miss a penalty, your rating just gets absolutely decimated. Like, I'm sure Caleb Chukwuemeka isn't playing a 6.1 rating, but because he's missed the penalty, he's rated so lowly, as if missing a penalty is that bad of an action. Like, it is bad, but I don't think it should be affecting your rating that much. But there you go. We have broke through there, and again, Ahui doing some good work to get the ball in, but unfortunately, just can't seem to find anyone. As Ben Shellner, on loan from Peterborough, whips one in, and Mooney gets there, and I think it's just going to be one of them games. I think it's going to be one of them games where we just can't score as Mooney gets on the end of the header, but unfortunately it's gone wide. I mean, look at the stats. We've got an XG of 2.6, and they've got an XG of like 0.3. Okay, I think it's time to bring Giscombe on. He's actually been quite good. He has actually been quite good, but McCammon is a regular goal scorer, and Hines there from the corner did try to put it in, but it's gone out for another corner, so it took a deflection. Giscombe is coming in now, so hopefully he can show what he's about. But I would say he's probably a better player than McCammon, but McCammon's a pretty regular goal scorer. But there is Giscombe, and he's running through, actually, and I thought he was going to score there after I was just saying that McCammon's been a goal scorer. But again, it's another save from Weaver. He's got to be on a good rating because he has kept the ball out quite well today. As Ibrahim, well, I was going to say he tries to knock it back in, but the highlight ended, so we won't even know what happened. It's probably nothing, based on the fact that nothing, the highlight just stopped. 20 minutes ago, we are still 1-0 down. I mean, I can't believe this. Look at the stats, man. It's ridiculous. Do we bring Lonsdale on? He's not really a goal scorer either, is he? No, he's got 1 in 20. That is, yeah. We'll stick with what we've got and hope that they can do the job. I will just very quickly berate them though for this terrible performance. But I'm just thinking Lonsdale, not really a goal scorer. Mooney's probably the only one playing well, but he is tiring a little bit, so we'll keep an eye on that. As it's knocked in for Hines, but his header, well, I don't think it was his. It must have been the defenders. It just comes straight back out. I mean, how many chances do we need to put the ball in the back of the net? We've had a penalty, and then Rush All are going to catch us on the counter here. I don't know why the defenders come across. Why he came across. Thankfully, Craven has managed to save us there a little bit and kept us in the game, because realistically that should be 2-0 Rush All, and we'd be absolutely kicking ourselves that we'd be leaving this game at home as well, with a loss, because realistically we should be winning this. And I mean, play this game 9 times out of 10, we're winning this, but this is just the one game where we've just not been able to score. Their goalkeeper's had a mad one and we've missed a penalty. So yeah, I don't know. Right, it looks like it's not going to happen. We'll bring Lonsdale on. We'll go very attacking as well, just in case we can throw the goalkeeper up for a corner. You know what? I'll bring Tootle on as well. I have seen him score a couple goals. Hugh Alban Jones. I think we're done all our subs anyway. 5 minutes to go. Very attacking. Just throw everything at it. We have got a highlight, which is promising, and we are up for it. There's Tootle there, the substitute, knocks it down, plays it through to Lonsdale, the two substitutes linking up into the. Oh my God! Chukwuemeka gets a header and it hits the post. It's just one of those days. It's just one of those days. It's just one of those games. We're just not going to score, and we're going to leave the game wondering how on earth have we lost this. We've been, unless we can get something late here. Tootle knocks. I mean, it's a terrible ball, but Mooney will pick it up. Plays it into Wyatt. He's knocked it into Giscombe, who goes all the way back to Fox, all the way up to Tootle. It's just been knocked around. And then, wow. Well, I don't even know what that is. That is awful from Lonsdale on the right-hand side. He just headed it way over. He was like a couple yards out. And we've lost. How have we lost that game? Oh my God. Right. A 1-0 loss to Rush All Olympic, who had 4 shots on target with an XG of 0.7. We had 32. I mean, that's an issue in itself. We had 32 shots and only 8 of them on target. Not a good day for the attackers. 14 XG, 16 corners, 63% possession, and a missed penalty. I mean, if that's not getting FM'd, I just don't know what is. But somehow we've lost that. And realistically, performance-wise, I'm very happy because we've done really well there. But how we've lost that, I don't know. Thankfully, it hasn't made a huge difference because we have got a little bit of a gap under the teams above us. And we still only are 3 points away from Southport, who we do play next. So a win in the next game will put us up into the playoffs to end the episode, which would be definitely ideal. There is a bit of a gap between 7th and the rest of the playoffs, though. So realistically, I think if we're trying to get in the playoffs, we are probably only looking at that 7th spot. So we are back for the second game of the episode. We're away to Southport, and we need to see a much more improved performance. We've only made one change to the starting 11. Giscombe comes in for McCammon because he looked like he played pretty well when he came off the bench. The rest of the side remains the same. Other than that, Hugh Alban Jones did actually reject his offer from Dover. So he hasn't gone out there, and unfortunately no one else wants him. But Nicholson did accept his contract from South Shields, so he's moved there, which does free up about £300-400 on the wages, I think it was, something like that. He wasn't really playing. I think we've got better options. The only other good piece of news is Kane Felix has returned from his injury, so he's going to be sitting on the bench. He's someone who has popped in with a lot of goals this year, 14 and 30 as well, so he's definitely someone we'd want to get involved. Whether he gets back into his right-hand side over Hines, I don't know. You know what, we'll stick with Hines and we'll bring him on probably for... Yeah, we'll bring him on for 30-25 today. But the rest of the squad remains the same, just Giscombe coming in for McCammon. Obviously, Giscombe is on loan from Reading. We have got quite a few loans in the squad, which is something we'll definitely need to address next year because we don't want to be relying on loans. But Southport are currently 7th. We are currently 8th. We are 3 points behind with a much better goal difference than them. If we were to win today, we would just sneak into the playoffs. I think then we'd be looking at a really interesting end of the season. There isn't too much left of the season now. We are on, I think this is match day 37 now, so we are really getting to the business end of the season. But I mean, we really, really need to win here because if we don't win, if we lose this game, we'll be 6 points behind them, which is going to be quite the mountain to climb with, like I say, not a lot of games left. Definitely enough to make it up, but that would rely on Southport dropping points, which It does not look like it's going to be the case as Richie Bennett. Well, that's exactly what you don't want to see. The big striker's got on the end of a cross and he's put Southport 1-0 up, and this could be back-to-back losses in the first, I think probably for the first time this series. We didn't lose our first game, did we? I think we only played the one game in the first episode, so this could be back-to-back losses for the first time, which really, honestly, has come out of nowhere. It's the loading up the game when you haven't loaded it up for a few days curse, I think, because realistically we were playing really well. Um, in the previous episode and then the games in between. But since then, I mean, well, I guess we haven't really. We've just been scoring a lot. We have been conceding a lot, but I assumed that was just from Robertson being 16 and really bad. It's Richie Bennett again. Oh my, it's basically a carbon copy. Our centre backs just can't deal with him. He's too good in the air. And Southport go 2-0 up, and it looks like we're going to be. I don't think we are going to be in the playoff run now. We will be 6 points out with what, 9 games to go, something like that. I can't remember exactly how many games are in National League North. It's 46, isn't it? 23, 46. Yeah, yeah, it will be. So, yeah, I mean, unless we can salvage something out of this game, as Hines tries to do that, breaks through, but unfortunately puts his effort way wide. We're really going to be under it here. We're really going to be struggling to get into those playoffs unless we can go on a really good run and hope that the teams in the playoffs drop points. But the likelihood of that happening is less and less because at this point they're up there because they're a good side, and they're definitely proving it today. And we're definitely proving we might not be ready for a promotion. Definitely not for a, well, probably not ready for a promotion. Definitely not, but probably not ready for a playoff run. As they're in again, and thankfully this time Craven's managed to get down and save it. But really disappointing. I think Connor Johnson isn't too much of an upgrade on either of the centre backs. So the fact that he's missing out probably isn't the main reason. I think Richie Bennett is just a really good striker at this level. To be honest, he's probably a National League striker. So the fact that he's down here at this level says it all, really. But yeah, I mean we're doing really poorly today. I really didn't see this coming when I loaded up the episode. I thought, you know what, we'll beat Rushall and then we'll give Southport a game. But it hasn't been that way at all. And to be fair, obviously the Rushall game was very one-sided. We were the much better side, but today we've just been so poor. Not really sure why. We just can't get going, and it could just be the case of Southport are a good side. But again, I mean, this would be the type of team we would play in the playoffs if we were to get into them, probably like this caliber of team. So maybe we're not ready to. Maybe we're not ready to be in the playoffs, but we will make a change. We'll bring Kane Felix on, who's back from injury. Gizcom isn't really playing too well either. We'll bring Josh McCammon on and try and just liven up that attack, because the attack in the last game was actually pretty good. I didn't want to change it too much, but Gizcom did look good off the bench, but he has not had any impact today. I mean, yeah, I mean, just look at the stats. We aren't playing well, as we just haven't had a shot on target yet. And again, it's a bit of a poor performance from Triple Mecca. He does do this a lot. He is very streaky, I guess. He's not very consistent. Like, he'll have some good games, and in other games he'll come out with a 6.1, and other times he'll have like a really poor rating, but then get a goal late on, so it kind of saves his rating. I mean, Ibrahim, I don't know what you're doing there. That was such a good opportunity for Mooney or Cameron, whoever it was, who drifted in from out wide to just have a shot there, but we've played it back, and just poor decision making again. And I am wondering if all of the new signings just maybe aren't gelling, and switching the team a lot is maybe not helping. So we might need to just go back to the four that were working. But Mooney does get on the end of one there, and Ben Chalner plays it across the box, and Dan Mooney does get his goal to make it 2-1. And I mean, could we get back? I don't really want to go very attacking because they didn't seem to do anything in the last game. I mean, if we can salvage a point here, that would be massive, but it doesn't look like we're going to. Nope, full time, so it was just a consolation goal. Yeah, really poor. I mean, I don't know what to say. I think no one really played well there. I know Challender's got a good rating, but that's just because he got an assist at the end of the game. Really quite poor again. And that creates quite the gap now for the playoffs. It really does. So as you can see there, now a 6-point gap. Now, obviously, goal difference wise, I think if you look at it, we are probably one of the better teams in the league, but we just joined obviously a little bit later in the season when they were rock bottom. So it's been quite a turnaround. I mean, you know what? I think considering where we were, this would be a good place to definitely, if we could finish in this position, I think we'd have to take that. But I think just based on how well we have been playing, it's been really disappointing to lose these two back to back. Yeah, I mean, look at the form. I don't know where these losses have come from. I mean, the Rushall one is just really unlucky, but this one we were genuinely outplayed. Richie Bennett. I mean, let's take a look at him. He's actually on loan from Scunthorpe, who are actually in this league. Very interesting. But yeah, I mean, a 17 jump and reach, that says it all. 17 jump and reach at National League North is going to be lethal, and it is lethal. Jesus, 20 and 25. Is he the top goal scorer in the league? He's not, actually. There's quite a lot of people who've scored a lot. Where's our striker? Kane Felix can't is our top scorer in the league. Him and Chukwuemeka are very close. That's disappointing. We are really far down. Whoever this guy is, he's on a grand a week at Buxton. A grand a week. How are they affording that? Well, he's got 27, so he's definitely worth it. But how are they affording that? Charlie Catton at Chester, I know of him. I mean, is he really 23? I mean, I feel like a few of these might have been a little bit overrated by the game. I know Glenn Taylor usually does well. Or Blackett, another one. Yeah, I mean, Dylan Stevenson's a good player, only a youngster. Um, yeah, I think we need more. I think we need a better. I mean, Chukwuemeka's been good. I'm not gonna start slating him. 13 and 28 is definitely not bad. Kane Felix has popped up with a lot. 14. I feel like the goals have been shared maybe across our front four, so I don't need to worry about the numbers too much. But Connor Johnson, yeah, you can come back in. I'll bring you back in for Hayes Green. But yeah, I mean, quite the disappointing episode. So, given the fact that I think playoffs might be a little bit probably out of our realm, I think we'll come back for the last two games of the season. So we'll come back for the away trip to Kings Lynn and the home game against Charlie. We'll play these games in between, unless something happens and something more interesting pops up. But I think we'll come back for these two. And maybe we can hopefully make a late playoff push, but we will have to turn the form around massively. Well, not massively because we have been doing well, but we will need to turn the form back around and we need to start scoring more. I think that's the issue. I mean, you look at the games before, we've conceded more goals before, we just haven't scored in the last couple of games. So get the goals back. I think we'll at least get up there. We'll make it a challenge. But I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have done, please let me know, and I'll see you all for the next episode very soon.